Meghan Markle may have just delivered one of her most uncomfortable media moments yet. For the very first time, she wasn't the host, she was the guest on a podcast. And not just any podcast, but the Jamie Kern Lima Show, a warm, inspirational platform typically dedicated to feel-good conversations and life lessons. The intention was clear, to peel back the curtain and reveal a more vulnerable, emotional side of Meghan. But the internet? It wasn't convinced. The moment she stepped onto the set, makeup-free, hair loosely tied, and barefoot, the vibe screamed authenticity. But to many viewers, it didn't feel honest. It felt staged. One viral tweet captured the mood perfectly. 83% dislike rate. That's not a podcast, that's a flopcast. Social media erupted, calling the appearance overly scripted and painfully rehearsed, one of the most forced podcast performances in recent memory. And then, the tears. In a particularly emotional segment, Meghan reads a heartfelt letter to her children. Her voice quivers. She clutches her chest, yet not a single tear falls. Critics were quick to pounce, dismissing it as nothing more than crocodile tears, a carefully planned PR moment disguised as genuine vulnerability. It didn't take long for Megyn Kelly to weigh in. During her breakdown of the episode, she paused the footage, zoomed in, and highlighted what many were already thinking. No actual tears, just dramatic expressions. And for Megyn, this wasn't unfamiliar territory. Her Spotify series Archetypes was originally marketed as raw and honest, but critics quickly panned it for being overly polished and lacking any real spontaneity. A pattern seems to be emerging and people are starting to catch on. What's stirring even more controversy is Meghan's relentless effort to appear relatable. Commentators argue she's trying a little too hard to come off as the down-to-earth, everyday mom. But when it starts to resemble a calculated branding strategy instead of honest vulnerability, it tends to backfire. From carefully timed crying to reading emotional letters on cue, the performance begins to feel less like a heartfelt podcast and more like an open casting call. But this isn't just about one awkward appearance or a missing tear. This moment has sparked a new wave of backlash, this time from some of the loudest voices in media. Because now, Piers Morgan has entered the conversation, and he's not holding anything back. He just unleashed a scathing attack on Meghan's so-called emotional display, and what he said might be his most ruthless critique yet. Piers Morgan has built a reputation for being unapologetically blunt, especially when Meghan Markle is involved. Following Meghan's viral, tear-free podcast moment, Piers Morgan didn't waste any time launching another scathing attack. And let's just say, he held nothing back. He labeled her new Netflix series, With Love, Megyn, as completely unwatchable. In his words, the entire production felt like a vanity project. Just a group of people sitting around showering Meghan with praise. But Piers didn't stop there. He went after both Meghan and Prince Harry, branding them as emotional con artists who use fake vulnerability as a tool for sympathy, for headlines, and for brand deals. According to him, the couple has mastered the art of rebranding, from Hollywood glam to barefoot simplicity, each version carefully crafted to steer public perception. And when it comes to Hollywood, insiders say the tide is turning. The entertainment world appears to be quietly distancing itself from the Sussexes. Even some of their once close celebrity allies are reportedly stepping away. Her podcast didn't resonate, her lifestyle brand missed the mark, and Meghan's repeated efforts to portray herself as a soulful, misunderstood mother simply aren't connecting. But the moment that truly had people cringing, Meghan shared that she writes secret email letters to her children every night, sent to inboxes they don't even use yet. What was meant to be a sweet parenting gesture quickly turned into another internet spectacle. Piers' panel couldn't help but laugh, calling the segment more of a publicity move than a genuine family tradition. Critics pointed out that it seemed less about her kids and more about shaping the image of Meghan as a poetic, devoted mom. And that's the recurring theme. Every personal story feels more like a marketing strategy than a moment of real connection. Then came Meghan's now infamous hard work speech. She listed things like crafting Instagram captions and staying in touch with friends as examples of her exhausting daily grind. Let's be real. Those comments didn't land well with people juggling multiple jobs just to keep a roof over their heads. Piers Morgan and others were quick to call her out, slamming the remarks as wildly out of touch, especially coming from someone backed by assistants, PR teams, and more support than most working moms could ever imagine. Even Jamie Kern Lima, the podcast host, didn't escape scrutiny. Her over-the-top praise, synchronized emotions, and rehearsed delivery made the whole episode feel less like an interview and more like a scripted TED Talk. By now, the question isn't just whether Meghan is disconnected from reality, it's whether anyone in the royal family still stands behind her. Because behind closed doors, a much larger storm appears to be brewing. Reports say Prince William wants their royal titles revoked, and that the monarchy's patience may be wearing dangerously thin. What began as a controversial podcast episode is now spiraling into something far more serious, a potential royal crisis. And this time, it's not just outspoken critics like Piers Morgan or Megyn Kelly raising eyebrows, it's the royal family itself. Sources claim Prince William has had enough. He's not just upset about Meghan's awkward podcast moment, he's furious about the timing. Insiders say Meghan and Harry were making media waves while King Charles was battling health issues, mirroring the backlash they received for similar behavior during Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip's final days. Now, pressure is mounting, and fast. Recent polls out of the UK reveal a striking trend. Nearly 2/3 of Brits believe Harry and Meghan should be permanently stripped of their royal titles. And this isn't just about hurt feelings, it's a calculated concern. Critics argue that the couple's ongoing use of the Duke and Duchess titles is damaging the monarchy's image across the Commonwealth. As for Prince William, reports suggest he wants to wipe the slate clean. Not just the HRH styling, but the Duke and Duchess titles altogether. And it wouldn't be just a personal move. Insiders say it could be part of a broader effort to safeguard the monarchy's future. Royal experts point out that removing the HRH designation is something the reigning monarch can do with the stroke of a pen. Getting rid of the Duke and Duchess titles, however, would require an act of parliament. But public opinion is already tipping in that direction. Even Meghan's own half-brother, Thomas Markle Jr., has weighed in, claiming she ruined Harry's life and predicting she'll walk away the moment his royal status is stripped for good. Harsh words, but echoed by many online in the wake of her latest podcast, Backlash. Now, as Meghan faces a tidal wave of ridicule across social media and news platforms, new reports claim she may be seeking therapy to cope with the intensifying pressure and scrutiny. Whether completely accurate or slightly inflated, one thing is clear. The pressure around Harry and Meghan is reaching a boiling point. And the irony? Meghan's attempt to reinvent her public image with emotional podcast confessions, heartfelt storytelling, and curated moments of poetic motherhood may have backfired spectacularly. Instead of earning empathy, she may have triggered a wave of institutional pushback, and time might be running out. Because if Prince William ascends the throne, insiders say he won't hesitate to make a decisive move, not out of spite, but to protect the monarchy's long-term image. This is no longer a family dispute. It's brand warfare, and the crown appears to be choosing survival over sentiment. Which raises the bigger question. How much longer can Meghan Markle hold it all together before everything, her fame, her influence, even her marriage, starts to unravel? So where does this leave Meghan? From tearless podcast moments to growing public mockery, from royal tensions to potential title removal, this has become far more than just a publicity blunder. Meanwhile, Meghan's camp claims this is nothing but bullying, that she's being unfairly criticized for simply expressing emotion, that her podcast was intended as a safe space, not a battlefield. But here's the problem. The internet has a long memory, and when vulnerability starts to feel like marketing, people notice. The staged crying, the bedtime email monologue, the speech about being overworked from writing captions and replying to texts. None of it landed the way it was supposed to. And now, the backlash isn't just about clicks or comments. It's deeply personal, politically charged, and family-fueled. With Prince William reportedly drawing a line, and even Meghan's own brother publicly criticizing her, the stakes have never been higher. Titles might be stripped, bonds may be broken, for good. So what's your take? Is Meghan being unfairly targeted, or is this the cost of overproduced vulnerability in a hyper-aware digital age? Drop your thoughts below. And as always, we'll catch you in the next one.